How's everybody? In today's video, I wanted to answer a few questions. First of all, I'm so appreciative and thankful for everyone that has been kind of following along and asking questions and leaving comments below. I really do appreciate it because it gives me, it just feels good knowing that the things that I put out there has some sort of value and people are actually using that information whichever which way it is received. So that's really I'm really happy about that. So thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, there's a lot of questions that I've been getting, and some are pretty similar. And this is actually my second time recording this because I kind of went off like a huge tangent with some of the questions because they were just really good. Oh yeah, I'm Corio. If you're new to the channel, I make videos about what it's like to live with paralysis and all things spinal cord injury. If you want to follow along, I would love it. Plus now, because now my YouTube is monetized, so it does make it there's a little incentive there now, so it's pretty cool. So if you guys want to follow along, go for it. Okay, so the most common question that I get, or things in the comments that I've read, are people asking like, isn't he technically, or aren't you technically a paraplegic because you can move your arms? I thought quadriplegic, basically they can't move anything from the neck up, which you are technically correct. However, quadriplegia or quadriplegics, according to our handy friend Google here, it is quadriplegic is affected by or relating to paralysis in all four limbs, also known as tetraplegic. It's a person affected by paralysis in all four limbs. So it doesn't necessarily mean a loss in all four limbs, it just means affected by. So for example, like my hands, right? So I have, I don't have that much finger dexterity, because I don't have muscles in my forearm here. I mean, I have a muscle, but it's just not activated. It's hard for me to make a grip. I can move my wrist up. If I wanted to make thumbs up, this is kind of how I would do it. Or since I live in Hawaii, it would be, chakra. Yeah, it's impairment in all four limbs, not necessarily a total loss. And even in my left arm here, so I have a little bit of tricep function here, so I can go against gravity. I can extend that a little bit. And see, but on this side, this is why I'm C5, C6 quadriplegic, is because stuck. Cannot go against gravity. I can extend my arm out, and I can do this, but this is more shoulders. So, and a general rule of thumb is the higher the injury is on your vertebral column or your spine, usually the less function that you have. If someone in a wheelchair told you, oh, I broke my back and I have a spinal cord injury, versus, oh, I broke my neck and have a spinal cord injury. Usually people that have broken their neck are quads, people that have broken their back, so even their chest and all the way down, are paras. So when I say that, when people call me a para, and they're actually just, giving me, I take it as a compliment, because you're giving me more, credit than I actually am, if that makes sense. And I know it's confusing. I had no idea what a quadriplegic was until, I became one. Paraplegic was like a word that I heard in a Lil Wayne song one time. So like, it's if you're confused and it doesn't make any sense, it's okay. Okay, it's okay. I got you. All right. Okay. Next question. Question number 2. Am I single? I guess I brought this on myself because I think a few years ago I made a video about what it's like to date in a wheelchair and the whole process and all the dynamics and how things change when you're actively dating in a wheelchair. And again, I brought it up on myself because I was kind of angry. I was a little frustrated just because of the way of things that haven't worked out, and just in general, dating can be frustrating. But I am happy here to say that happily in a relationship. My girlfriend Jamie, who was also a teacher, and we have had talks of her, coming onto the channel and doing another video of what it's like being a kind of interabled couple, and how those kinds of things, how me being in a wheelchair and dealing with paralysis, affects her, and how just on kind of how our relationship works and how it's different from a normal, able-bodied one. But I gotta be really careful because we share the same kind of students at school, and we gotta kind of be very calculated in how we go about that. But yes, I'm happily, in a relationship. For those of you who left comments, saying like, oh, if I was you were single, I'd date you, or things along like that. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, happily involved, happily taken. So yeah. Okay, so the next question is pretty interesting. It reads, do you build a genuine connection with your caregiver or friendship, or does that remain purely of that caregiver? Just relationships in general are super important. I think, especially when you have someone that's caring for you, you want to make sure that there is a fit and that it works. And for me, what I do, and I've had so many caregivers in my 12 years of being hurt, and I try and tend to hang on to the ones that are like really, really, really good, because I've had some really, really awesome ones, and I've had some ones that could have used some work. But when you need help, right? Beggars cannot be choosers, and you try your best for it to make it a fit, because especially now, caregivers, there's a shortage of caregivers, and I'm so appreciative of them in that profession, and because it's such a selfless job. It's very intimate, it's very personal, and that relationship that you have with your caregiver and as a I guess as client, the relationships that I have with my caregivers are pretty special, and I definitely try to make sure that it is going well, that I have a relationship with them, because it just makes things so much easier. I've gotten to a point with caregivers where I don't have to say like a word like at all, like with the morning routine, like everything, we've done it so many times, like it's just like clockwork, and it's a good feeling and to be at that point. But I do understand, coming from Seattle and to Hawaii, that there are some differences, and differences in care and differences in people. Yes, I do keep in touch with a lot of former caregivers that I've had. Some have retired, some still in Washington. We're Facebook friends, and I think it's super important. So short answer to the question, yes, I do build a very special relationship, especially as a quad, when you have someone showering you, dressing you, and all these intimate kind of personal daily tasks that you have them help you with. So yeah, absolutely. And if you are newly injured, and you're going through a whole bunch of caregivers, you just try and keep on to the ones that you match with and that you fit with, because it makes life so much easier, and just when that relationship is good. So hopefully that answers the question. Next question says, do you maintain your same friendship circles? Was there significant challenges to remain friends without any feeling of being a burden, pity, inability to attend some activities, etc.? Very good question. Basically, did my friendships change, and did I ever feel like a burden to some people? I said this in my last video, or the previous videos, that I have a solid, and I'm very lucky because not everyone has this. I have a very solid circle, family, friends, co-workers, people that are in my life, that if I need something or anything, they're there. I can call a number of people, and even though I am stubborn, they would come and help me, no problem. But in terms of same friendship circles, yes, I do. I'm still friends with a lot of people I went to high school with, that I've played sports with, that I went to college with, and I think not everyone perceives the injury, or not everyone understands the injury or takes it in the same way, because we're all different people. When you hear about one of your friends is now paralyzed, it does change the dynamic of your friendship a bit, but I think for me it's been for the better. I'm able to communicate to my friends what I need, how to help me, what to do, how to help. It's just been and they're willing to do it because that communication is there. Sometimes, and also doing this YouTube thing and putting out these videos have also helped my friendships grow and people that are important to me, because I'm able to tell people in the world without them having to ask, because it can be kind of awkward, and you don't want to offend, or just because you don't know how to help but you want to. So long story short, yes, I've definitely kept some of my same friends before the injury, and also met great ones afterwards. And it's to the point where back in a lot of my good friends are still back in Seattle. They've come here, and and I'm so thankful, have made part of their Hawaii vacation an effort to see me, right, to hang out with Corey. Like that's I'm so lucky and thankful that I have friends that are able to do that, and that do that. And I'm not going to say, like, naturally, I got hurt at age 20 and now I'm 32. Naturally, you grow out of touch with friends as you grow up, and that naturally that has happened. But I wouldn't say because of my injury or anything like that. That's just naturally of how things work out. That's life. That's growing with friendships and things along the lines of that. Yeah. The second part of, did I ever feel like a burden or pity or inability to attend some activities? I think earlier and in the beginning I definitely did, because it was definitely harder, especially when you're younger. When I got hurt at age 20, so when all my friends were partying and enjoying college and enjoying their independence, and I was at home, with my mom and dad and sister. Not that that's bad or anything, but you feel a little left out. Now that I look back on it, it's like, I guess I'm older now, and I don't feel left out at all. But I have a really good group, like these same friends that I keep in touch with and that are still a big part of my life, even though they live further away. They would do everything. Like, they would come to my house, they would drive the van, they would take me out against my will sometimes, because but I needed that. The football boys that I had and I went to college with, like, I still went to most of their games. They pushed me from class to class. Like I said, it's only made our friendships and our bond and our relationships like even better. And again, I know that not everyone has that. I am so lucky, so lucky that I do. But it has made the world of difference. I would not be where I am without that support. So, and I'm not bullshitting. Like, this is true. Like, this is I try to there are times I had times where I was out with friends and, like, I diarrheaed my pants. I had times where I was out with friends and we're crossing the street and I fell out of the chair. Like, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There are some things that happen when you're out with friends and things like that. But I'm lucky that I do have them. Oh, and quick shout out to all my friends and family and people that over the years, if I haven't seen you in a while, I miss you, and I'm still thankful that you were a part of my life. All right, so that just about wraps it up for part one. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I'll try and get back to them as soon as I can. I'm an open book. I appreciate all the engagements in the comments. I enjoy making them because just knowing that in some way, shape, or form, these videos are helping someone with something in any way is pretty rewarding, and it's pretty cool. It's what essentially is why I made this account and started to do this. Oh yeah, if you want to watch the second part with deeper questions like motivation and depression, I'll try and link it here because I just filmed that one. So yeah, I think that's it. Okay, to the next one. Shoots.